Dear Diploma CET aspirants, in this video we'll be seeing paging and segmentation concept, the last video of your operating system portion. When CPU wants to fetch any data from the primary memory, that is your physical memory, then our physical memory is very large compared to our cache memory. When the RAM size is increases, the searching time it takes larger larger time it takes, the latency of memory access will be more, memory latency will be more. So for that we use some table. Through that table we can access the data directly from the physical memory. It is same as your index in your book. So this concept we use as a paging. For this, physical memory is divided into fixed size blocks, those are called frames, and address is divided into logical memory is divided into fixed sized blocks, those are called pages. You remember CPU is generating logical address, memory management unit is generating physical address. That logical address contains two parts. First is page number, then second is displacement. Displacement is also called offset. And physical address contains frame number and displacement. This displacement value will be same for page number as well as same displacement value is same for logical address and physical address. Only thing is that whatever the CPU has generated logical address, page number is the index into the page table. Whatever the entry in this page table, we have the entry of frame from the physical memory. That entry will be added with the displacement generated by the logical address. That is your physical address. Physical address. The page number is used as an index into a page table. The page table contains the base address of each page number in physical memory. Normally we have two registers for doing this one, base register and one more is a limit register. This base register is combined with the page offset to define the physical memory address that is sent to the memory unit. If we see above diagram, the page table contains entry of frame number and this also has the index of page number. So whatever the CPU has generated the page number, it searches for the particular index, and whatever the value assigned to that page number, page index, then that is your frame number that will be added with your displacement. Whatever the value I'll get, that is your physical address that is going to map with your physical address in your RAM. So this base address is combined with the page offset to define physical memory address that is sent to the memory unit. If you see this below diagram, I have logical memory as page number, page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3. Then I have page table. This page table has the index value as 0, 1, 2, 3 because I have 3 pages in logical memory, and this page table has the entries 1, 4, 3, 7 as the frame number. When the logical address has the page number along with the displacement, in this page table when I say that index value is 1, it has the corresponding value frame number as 4. It means that in physical memory I am going to store the frame number in fourth frame. I am going to store the page 1, and in frame page number 1. And in uh, zeroth in page table, in zeroth index I have the frame number as 1. It means that in frame number 1 I am going to store the zeroth page. If you see the last row, third index, that is third page number has the frame number as 7. It means that in 7th frame index in your physical memory you are going to store the page 3. It is, if I want to access the page 3 from physical memory, I have to, it has to map with the page table. From there our CPU will get the value of page 3 by referring the frame number 7. The page size is defined by the hardware. The page size can be varied, as I said earlier. The page size can be varied depending on the requirement of the hardware. This is defined by the computer hardware. The size of page is power of 2. Normally power of 2 means the page size can be 2 raised to 9, that is your 512. The page size can be 2 raised to 10, that is 1024. The page size can be 2 raised to 11, that is 2048 bytes. Up to you can have the page size 1 GB per page depending on the computer architecture. I have three terminology here. One is translation local site buffer, page table base register, then one more is page table length register. Here sometime he may ask the long form of this TLB, PTBR and PTLR. TLB stands for translation local site buffer, PTBR stands for page table base register, PTLR stands for page table length register. To make our accessing speed of data from the memory, we use one more temporary memory, that is buffer, that is translation look aside buffer. It is a very fast buffer within the system. It's going to identify the uh, page with page and fetches that page from the physical memory. This in second level, instead of having single page table, we have one more level called, it is TLB. What this TLB does is, when the CPU generates the logical address, it has as usual page number as well as displacement. This TLB has two columns, one is page number and frame number. It identifies whether that page number entry is there in this TLB or not. If it is there, then we call it as a TLB hit. If that page number entry is not there in your TLB, translation look aside buffer, then we call it as a TLB miss. If TLB miss is there, definitely the entry will be there in your page table. If the page entry in TLB is missing, sorry sorry page number is missing in TLB, definitely it will be there in your page table. When there is a page hit, it directly generates the physical address by taking the frame number from the TLB and adding displacement from the logical address, that I'll get the physical address. Suppose if I miss if I don't have the page number in our TLB, then it goes to the page table as usually in previous diagram. It identifies the page number in page table and it has the corresponding frame number in page table. If I get the page in this page entry in this page table, then I am going to map that frame number with the displacement, that I'll get the physical address. Then I'm going to map these address with the physical address. The percentage of time, they may ask the question of hit ratio and miss ratio. What is hit ratio and miss ratio is, uh, suppose if the CPU has requested particular data, if it is found in your memory, it means that there is a hit. If the requested page is not found, that I call it as a page miss. Remember, when the requested page is found in the page table, that I call it as a page hit. If the requested page is not found in your page table, that I call it as a page miss. In other terminology, in other cases, we use cache miss and cache hit. It means that when the requested data, if it is found in cache, that I call it as a cache hit. If the requested data is not found in cache, that I call it as a cache miss. What is this hit ratio means with respect to your translation look aside buffer? Assume that assume that I have accessed some data called x. It is there in your memory. I have accessed that data 10 times. If I found every time uh, that data is there in your memory 10 times, it means that my hit ratio is 100%. And in some time what happens, the data cannot be there in your memory or in TLB. That time out of 10 I got 8 times that data, and 2 times the data is missing. So my hit ratio is 80%. I'm going to say in terms of percentage, that I call it as a hit ratio. Percentage of time the data is available in memory, we call it as a hit ratio. The percentage of time the data is missing from the memory, we call it as a miss ratio. When I say data is available for 8 times and data is not available for 2 times, it means that hit ratio is 80% and miss ratio is 20%. He has given one example how to calculate the effective access time. Effective access time is calculated with the help of this formula: hit ratio into memory access plus miss ratio into 2 times of memory access. 2 times, I'll tell why. Because hit in this example they have given the hit ratio as 80%, they will give the hit ratio or miss ratio. When I say hit ratio 80%, definitely 20% is your miss ratio. Memory access, they have given 100 nanosecond. Memory access for accessing particular data, how much time it takes. How do I calculate the effective access time? Effective access time is nothing but the amount of time it takes to fetch a particular data to the CPU, that is your effective access time. When I convert this 80%, it is 0.80, that is hit ratio, into 100. 100 is nothing but is my access time, memory access time, plus what is my miss ratio? It is 20%. 20% is nothing but 0.20, and 2 times of memory access. When there is a data miss, then what I supposed to do? I'll be calculating. Suppose CPU has accessed some data from the TLB. If it is found, then there is a hit. There is a page hit. If it is missing, then I have to go first. I have to search the TLB. If it is not found, again I have to go for the page table. It means that 2 times I am doing the same time. It means the memory access time will be twice for accessing the data. So when there is a miss, it takes the double time to access the particular data from the memory. So what I supposed to do is, when there is a miss ratio, I have to multiply by 2 that memory access time. So 2 times of that memory access. 100 is memory access, so 100 into 2, 200. Whatever the value I'll get is 120 nanosecond. Assume that assume that if I requested value, when I get if there is if there is no miss ratio, if there is no miss ratio, definitely we'll get the 100 nanosecond. So it means that 80% hit ratio is there, 20% miss ratio is there. 20% miss ratio is there. It means that it has taken extra 20 nanosecond when there is a 20% miss ratio. If I have the 100% hit ratio, then the hit ratio becomes 0. 0 is multiplied by anything, it becomes 0. So 0 into 1, it is nothing but 0 into 1, it is nothing but 0 into 100, it is 100%. It means that it has taken 100 nanosecond. It means that it has not taken any extra time to fetch any data. So if there is a miss ratio, then it takes extra amount of time to fetch the particular data. In this we have two more bits here, valid bit and invalid bit. What they represent is, when this bit is set to valid, the associated page in the process logic address space and is thus a legal page. For any, if the legal page I have accessed, then that valid bit is assigned to that. If invalid bit assigned, it means that the logic page number is page is not in the process's logical address. That is the indication of invalid bit. We have three types of page tables here. A page table, if we have primary page table, we have secondary page table. If I want to extend my page table, in the reason for using this paging is the searching time in physical memory should be become lesser. So when physical table becomes too larger, then again searching for this physical table takes too much time. So we are going for secondary page table. So there are different hierarchies or page table structures. Normally we have hierarchical paging and hashed page tables and inverted page table for this page table structure. Next concept is segmentation. There we use the concept called paging. Here we use the concept called segmentation. Segmentation is a memory management scheme that supports this programmer view of memory. A logical space, their logical address space is divided into pages. Here the logical address space is divided into segments. Each segment has name and length. The address specify both the segment name and offset. There I call page name page number, here I am calling it as a segment name. The offset will remain same. There also I had the offset or displacement. Here also I am having the offset. The programmer therefore specify each address by two quantities. One is segment name and one more is offset of that. For simplicity of implementation, segments are numbered and are referred by the segment number rather than by the segment name. The logical address consists of two tuples. As I said, the logical address contains segment number. For convenient, I am using segment number instead of segment name, and one more is offset. When a program is compiled, the compiler automatically constructs segment reflect in the output. See in this scene segmentation. CIFI has generated the logical address. It contains the segment number and displacement, and there I had the page table. Here I am having the segment table. If my displacement value in CPU is greater, then we are going to raise the error. If no, if it is lesser than, then I am adding that displacement with the base address of the segment table. So here whatever the segment number I have, that entry will be there in your segment table, that will be mapped. Here we have in segment table we have two values, as I said, limit register and base register value. If uh, this segment number will maps with this limit register and base register value, and if it finds the entry in segment table, it will be added with the uh, base register value with the displacement, that is going to map with your physical memory. We must define the implementation to map to dimensional user defined address into one dimensional physical address. This mapping is effected by segment table. Each entry in this segment table has segment base and segment limit. The segment base contains the starting physical address where the segment resides in memory, and the segment limit specify the length of the segment. This what is the base register or base segment says is from where the starting address of the segment, and the limit register says the length of that particular segment. Next concept is demand paging. Demand paging is, suppose if I want to request any particular data from the memory, unless until if I don't demand, the page will not be loaded into the memory. Such concept you call it as a demand paging. Consider how an executable program might be loaded from disk into memory. One option is to load entire program in physical memory at program execution time. Demand paging, virtual memory pages are loaded only when they are demanded during program execution, is called demand paging. While executing any program, until the program requested for particular or CPU requested for particular page for execution, until the that page won't be loaded into the memory. Pages that are never accessed are thus never loaded into the physical memory. Then when you want to execute a process, we swap into the memory. Normally this happens because our primary memory is very lesser in size compared to your secondary memory. Primary memory contains two partition, one for operating system and other for user processes. If that primary memory becomes full, what I supposed to do is I need to swap the process from main memory into the secondary memory. The secondary memory are also called backing stores, and the requested page I can bring from secondary memory to the primary memory. When we want to execute a process, we swap into memory rather than swapping the entire process into the memory. Thus we use a lazy swapper. A lazy swapper never swaps a page into memory unless the page will be needed. Now suppose I am executing a program. That program contains 10 pages, then until particular function is get executed, the particular page won't loaded into the memory. So this type of uh, concept we call it as a lazy swapper. What happens if the process tries to access a page that was not brought into memory? Access to a page marked invalid causes a page fault. If you see this diagram, uh, if you see this diagram, I want to load a value m. First it looks into, he has given in different steps. If I want to load a m, it looks into page table. If that page table has the invalid bit, it means that that page is invalid, and it interrupts or raises an error, or we usually call it as trapping. Then it asks the operating system to load that value m from the secondary storage, page is on the backing store. Backing storage is nothing but our secondary storage or pen drive or hard disk, anything. Then from there I am bringing that missing page from backing store into the physical memory in the form of frame. Then reset the page table, because already the page invalid bit has set before that one, because that page was missing. Once I brought that page from backing store into the physical memory, I need to change that value invalid bit to valid bit. So need to page reset the page table, and again you need to re-execute the instruction. You are going to restart the same instruction for execution. What happens if the process tried to access a page that was not brought into? Access to a page marked invalid causes the page fault. Page fault is nothing but the requested page, if it is not found in your page table, that we call it as a page fault. If there is no page entered in the page table, definitely that page will be there in your backing store. That I need to get through these following steps. Pure demand paging never brings a page into memory until it is required. When there is a requirement, then only the page will be get loaded into the memory. Until it won't be get loaded. We have one more concept called copy on write. This is with respect to creating a process. You normally know that using the force system call in Linux operating system, we create the new process. That the new process, the parent process creates the new process as the child process, that is the duplicate of its parent. Fork work by creating a copy of parent address space for the child. Once the child has been created for the parent, the child can uses the parent address space. Duplicating the pages belong to the parent. Duplicating the pages belong to the parent. However, considering that many child invoke exit system call immediately after creating, the copy of the parent address space may be unnecessary. See, suppose if parent has created the child process and child can acquire the parent address space. Sometime what happens when the child has executed exit system call, it means that it is going to acquire the parent address space. Sometime what happens, the child may not require the parent address space, even though the address has allocated for the child. It is simply wastage of memory for the child. So we can use a technique known as copy on write, which works by allowing the parent and child process initially to share the same pages. In this case, with the help of copy and write, the parent and child can share the same page for their execution. Operating system typically allocate these pages using the technique known as zero fill on demand. Zero fill on demand means pages have been zeroed out before being allocated, thus erasing the previous content. So it means that suppose if the child has requested some pages, if any previous pages are there, those will be erased from that, and the new pages will be get loaded. This concept we call it as zero fill on demand. Then one more important concept with respect to our operating system is page replacement. Suppose if the requested page is not there in your primary memory, that is your physical memory, it has to be brought from the secondary storage into the primary memory. Once when there is no enough space to store the requested page from the secondary memory, what I supposed to do is I need to replace the existing page from the physical memory to the secondary storage. In this diagram, we have page table 0 frame as the invalid bit, then and second we have the valid bit. What I supposed to do with respect to invalid bit, I need to bring that page from the secondary storage, so that the entry of that page table should be updated. Once it has updated, in previous diagram you have seen these steps, we need to restart the execution. Since when there is no space in your physical memory, what I do, I need to select a particular page for replacement. This concept we call it as a page replacement algorithms. This has some following sequences of steps. Find the location of the desired page on the disk. I need to identify the particular page in your secondary storage. Find a free frame. If there is a free frame, use it. Otherwise, if there is no free frame, use a page replacement algorithm to select a particular victim frame. Victim frame means which frame you want to replace or which page you want to replace. Write the victim frame back to disk. Change the page and frame table accordingly. You need to update, once you replace, now you need to update the page table entry. Read the desired page into newly freed frame. Change the page and frame tables. Continue the user process from where it has where the fault has occurred. You need to restart where exactly the fault has occurred, page fault occurred. From there you need to restart the executing the instruction. The last is allocation of frames. uh, Allocation of frames, this is not that much important. uh, the simplest case is the single user system. Consider a single user system with 128 KB of memory composed of pages 1 KB in size. This system has 128 frames. The operating system may take this is an example of allocating, how the frames are allocated for execution. They will not ask any question on this one. So this is the end of your operating system portion. In this operating system portion, the important concept are your process state diagram, very important. Then in deadlock, necessary conditions are very important. In synchronization, race condition important. Semaphore is important. Then in your memory management, limit register, then base registers are very important, and page table is very important. Paging concept is very important than your segmentation. So if any questions are there, we will be discussing these questions, previous year question paper. Again, I'll be covering the remaining means while I'll uh, solving the previous year question paper, we'll come to know more concept related to this operating system subject. Thank you.